Hello, everybody. Thanks for watching. Up here in Michigan, we're having a really cold, windy, snowy day. Please subscribe and like my videos if you like watching them. I want to talk today about a particular topic that I'm no subject matter expert whatsoever. But back in the late 80s, I was stationed at RAF Alconbury in England, and we went TDY, temporary duty, to an air base in southern Germany where we actually worked with the French Air Force, and they had some officials there from the French government. And I went out at night to get something to eat, and I have poor French, let me tell you that right now. I had several years of it in school, and I did poorly. Now, having said that, I was speaking with a French government official who spoke pretty fluent English, as I think he got his doctorate degree here in the United States. But anyway, what we ended up talking about was spent or used nuclear fuel from nuclear reactors for electricity, or really could have been from anywhere. And I remember he told me that he had been involved with a program that the French government was using to recycle this nuclear fuel. And what he basically told me was that all but 4% of that nuclear fuel could be recycled. Now, here in the United States, we basically put a big hole and caverns in below and underneath the mountain, and we just take our spent fuel, no matter where it comes from, and that's where it goes. Well, and they recycle it, and what I understand is each time you recycle the fuel, you lose more and more of it, but you're not just filling up a giant cave in a mountain full of it forever, basically. Stuff's going to be in there for hundreds of thousands of years before, it decays to the point where it's no longer a problem. So the French have had this recycling going on since sometime in the 70s. It's early 70s, I think. But in the United States, we have never recycled. They do some recycling in Russia. They have one small experimental plant in China, and India does a fair amount of recycling. That's it. Those are the only countries that do recycling. The only country who recycles at 100% is France. And you're sitting there thinking, well, if we can recycle, why don't we do it? Well, the answer that I've found out by making some phone calls and reading articles is that, it's like literally 1,000 times more expensive to recycle uranium or plutonium fuel than it costs just to put it in caskets and bury it in a mountain. It's a lot cheaper to use virgin uranium and plutonium fuels than it is to recycle to get the fuels back. So, but me, like most Americans, the first time I heard about this, I'd never heard about that you could recycle the fuel. Well, I understand that if you have radioactive fuel, that when you, whatever you're going to use it for, that being radioactive is still going to be there. But the biggest reason why we wouldn't, and none of our allies or foes doing this, would not help other countries who have nuclear reactors be able to recycle is because when you do the recycling, uranium and plutonium, which would be recycled, would be of weapons grade material. And that's why, even if it wasn't weapons grade material, like it came out of a reactor for power generation, after you did the recycling portion, you would have weapons grade material. So we would never give any money or help any country to do it. The French who do that don't help any other country do that. The Russians won't, the Chinese won't, and the Indians won't. Well, there's the reason why they won't. Because a lot of countries in the world today have nuclear reactors for power generation. They don't want everybody who has nuclear reactors. See, they'd get non-weapons grade material come in to power their reactor, but if they could recycle when they took it out, bada boom, bada bang, they'd have the material for an atomic bomb. And I think that's the reason why you haven't seen any more recycling than what you do. One country did do the recycling and no longer does it at all, and that is the United Kingdom. All right, folks, that's it for today. Take care, and I'll see you in the next one.